For nearly 1,000 years, the samurai ruled the battlefields of Japan. Masters of the sword, the bow, and later the gun, they fought in legendary wars that shaped the history of an entire nation. Their discipline, strategy, and combat prowess were unparalleled. From the earliest conflicts of the Heian period to the final days of the samurai in the Meiji Restoration, this is the story of samurai warfare. Origins of the samurai. The samurai class emerged in the late Heian period, around the 10th century. Originally, they were warrior servants to aristocrats, enforcing law and order in the countryside. But over time, they became more powerful, forming their own clans and fighting for supremacy. The shift from courtly aristocrats to warrior rule reshaped Japan forever. With a strong emphasis on loyalty and martial skill, the samurai developed into one of the most respected and feared warrior classes in history. 1. The role of the emperor versus the samurai. The emperor, though revered, held little direct power. It was the shoguns and the daimyo who wielded true military might. 2. The development of clan warfare and honor culture. Honor was everything to a samurai. To betray one's lord was to invite shame and ruin. And this philosophy shaped samurai conduct for centuries. 3. The rise of mounted samurai and archery combat. Early samurai battles were often fought on horseback, with bows and arrows being the primary weapons of war. The katana, though iconic, would come later. 4. Comparison with medieval knights. Like the knights of Europe, samurai adhered to a strict code of conduct and trained from childhood. However, their approach to warfare and loyalty had stark differences. The Genpei War, 1180–1185. The Genpei War was a defining conflict in samurai history. The Minamoto and Taira clans fought for control over Japan, leading to epic battles like the Battle of Dan no Ura. This war ended with the rise of the first shogun, Minamoto no Yoritomo, establishing a military government that would last for centuries. It was a time of shifting allegiances, heroic last stands, and the brutal efficiency of samurai warfare. 1. Battle of Uji, the first major samurai battle. The Battle of Uji marked one of the first large-scale samurai conflicts. Samurai warriors, mounted on horseback, engaged in a fierce struggle to secure their claim to power. 2. Taira clan's naval tactics versus Minamoto's land strategies. While the Taira relied on naval dominance, the Minamoto adapted their tactics, using quick land maneuvers to outflank and overwhelm their enemies. 3. The symbolic end of the Taira clan, the Battle of Dan no Ura. The defeat of the Taira at Dan no Ura was a turning point in Japanese history. The tragic death of Emperor Antoku drowned at sea signified the fall of an era. Kamakura shogunate and the Mongol Invasions, 1274–1281. In the 13th century, Japan faced its greatest external threat, the Mongol Empire. Kublai Khan's invasions in 1274 and 1281 tested the samurai's resilience. Though outnumbered, the samurai fought bravely, and nature delivered the final blow. A typhoon, later called the Divine Wind or Kamikaze, destroyed the Mongol fleet. This event would become legendary in Japanese culture, reinforcing the idea that the samurai were divinely protected. The Sengoku Jidai, Japan's Warring States period, 1467 to 1603. For over a century, Japan was engulfed in civil war. The Sengoku Jidai, or Warring States period, saw powerful daimyos like Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu battle for dominance. Battles like Okahazama and Sekigahara would decide the fate of the nation. This was a time when samurai warfare evolved, with the introduction of gunpowder weapons and complex battlefield strategies. The role of samurai in warfare. Samurai were more than just warriors. They were strategists, poets, and tacticians. They followed the Bushido code, emphasizing loyalty, honor, and discipline. Their weapons, from the iconic katana to the deadly yari spear, defined their combat style. Samurai duels were not just about skill, they were about philosophy, discipline, and proving one's worth. The rise of the Tokugawa shogunate. After centuries of war, Tokugawa Ieyasu seized power at the Battle of Sekigahara in 1600. His shogunate brought peace to Japan for over 250 years. But with peace came a change in the role of the samurai, from warriors to bureaucrats. Many adapted, but some longed for the old ways of war. The decline of the samurai. The Meiji Restoration of 1868 marked the end of the samurai. The world was changing. Guns, industry, and modernization rendered the old warrior class obsolete. Some samurai resisted, leading to the Satsuma Rebellion, but they were ultimately defeated. It was the end of an era. The legacy of the samurai. Though the samurai no longer march onto the battlefield, their legacy lives on. In film, literature, and martial arts, the spirit of the samurai continues to inspire. The lessons of Bushido, honor, loyalty, and perseverance, still influence Japanese society today. The story of samurai warfare is one of loyalty, ambition, and honor. Though the age of the samurai has passed, their legend will live on forever. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.